Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single Ninjago season, including Day of the Departed and Dragons Rising as well. So till date, if we add every single Ninjago season and Day of the Departed and also Dragons Rising, there is a total of 19 parts of Ninjago. Yeah, you heard me. 19 different parts of Ninjago. So let's just start ranking them. But before we start, I would just like to give a disclaimer that this is all just my opinion. Okay? You guys can obviously have a way different opinion than mine. Okay? These rankings are my opinion and you don't need to hate on me for it. Okay? You can definitely have your own rankings for all the seasons. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get to ranking all of the Ninjago seasons. So starting off this list at number 19, we have Day of the Departed. I think it should come as no surprise to anyone that Day of the Departed is the worst Ninjago part. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's absolutely horrible and utter garbage, but it's just too like forgetful and did nothing special. Okay. And for all these reasons, I'm going to be ranking Day of the Departed at number 19. Now, moving up to number 18, we have The Island. So, this season has actually a lot of things going for it. It has great animation, great setting, but the only problem that this season had was that it was meant to work as a setup for Seabound, about which we will talk like later on in the video. But however, because the season was just like supposed to be a setup for Seabound, it was really small and didn't have much to offer. So for that reason, it's going to be sitting at number 18. So next up at number 17, we have season 11. This season was the first season that had episodes with a running length of 10 to 11 minutes instead of the standard 20 to 21 minutes that Ninjago used to be. And that was something that I really didn't like about this season. But another thing that I didn't like about this season was Aspira. And to me, Aspira was just not such a good villain at all. I didn't like her as a villain. She wasn't completely bad, but I think they could have done a lot more things with Aspira. Like the idea of a serpentine being able to use like spinjitzu. When Aspira was like first ever time like introduced in the show, I thought that a snake being able to use spinjitzu was just crazy. Okay, and I really wanted to know her backstory and how she learned it. But then we got to know that Sensei Wu was the person who taught her how to use Spinjitzu, and this season just adds more to Sensei Wu not telling the ninja about anything. Okay, and that is something I'm not a very big fan of. Okay, so now at number 16, we have the pilots. Now, this might be a hot take, but I think the pilot episodes deserve this spot. I personally love the pilots. It was what started Ninjago. But I just think Ninjago has gotten so much better in terms of everything that's that this season is just outshone. Okay? This season is very much outshone by every other season. The pilots have no actual downside and is pretty good. But it's just like I said, outshone by every other season, and for that very reason, I rank the pilots at number 16. Now, at number 15, I have Prime Empire. Now, this is an interesting one because this is one of those seasons whose concept I really liked, but the execution was not the best. The villain was not so great, and there were a lot of moments that just didn't hit right for me. But other than that, there were actually quite a few moments that I really enjoyed as well, like Detective Zane. Okay, I really enjoyed Detective Zane. And many people say that they didn't really like, Detective Zane. And Zane didn't really have a very big part to play in the whole plot. And yeah, I have to agree with that. Zane was not that important to the plot and was really sidetracked for most of the season. And I think Rebooted does most of the things that this season does, but a lot more better. So for that reason, I rank this season at number 15. Next, at number 14, I have Hands of Time. This season, when I watched it the first time, I absolutely loved it. I really liked it. But when I rewatched it, like, there were a lot of moments that didn't hit as hard as they did the first time around. But the season was still pretty solid. And I love the concept of this season. It was great, but the execution at some moments was a bit lacking. Okay, but other than that, I feel this season is like overhated. It gets a lot of hate, and I don't understand why. Okay, I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, and it's actually really good. I just loved the other, Ninjago seasons a lot more than this season. Other than that, this season has really good villains like Acronyx and Crux. They are really good. And yeah, for that reason, I'm gonna be placing Hands of Time at number 14. Next on the list at number 13, I have Rebooted. Now, I personally really much enjoy the season, and the climax of the season is really emotional. Like, I actually cried when I watched that finale. Okay, and like the concept of this like season was really good. Okay, again, this is one of those seasons of Ninjago where the concept is phenomenal. Okay, and it just does every single thing that Prime Empire does, but a lot more better. Okay, and there are definitely a few drawbacks to this season. Like, it's not as good as the first two seasons of Ninjago. I feel they are both a lot more better than this season, and overall, it could have had a lot more better things. Okay, the execution of it could have been a lot more better, and yeah, for that reason, I have placed Rebooted at number 13. Number 12, Crystallized. Okay, so we have got Crystallized at number 12. Now, this season is really hated by Ninjago fans, and I can see where they are coming from. Okay, but I think there are also a lot of things that the season does really well. Okay, there are not just negatives to the season, but there are really good positives to it as well. Like the beginning part of this season was great. It had one of the greatest beginnings in Ninjago history. The build up was great. The characters, the villains, the everything was great. It was only the execution, the very climax where they failed. And I think that's what really like ruins this season. Otherwise, it could have been a top like best Ninjago season, contending with some of the best Ninjago seasons out there. And I think if the finale was done a little bit much more better and the power-ups of the ninja didn't feel completely random, this season could have definitely been great. And for that reason, I'm going to be placing this season at number 12. Number 11, I have season 2. This season has one of the greatest climaxes in all of Ninjago. In the climax, Lloyd defeats the Overlord and fulfills the prophecy. Okay, Garmadon turns good, and we have a happy ending. All in all, okay. I think like this season has the exact opposite problem of crystallized. Like this season does very little things that are bad. Most of this season is amazing. Okay, I think the only problem of this season is that it didn't start off really strong. And that to the starting was not so bad. It's just that it was not so great. And for that very reason, I'm ranking the season at number 11. Otherwise, if it had an amazing starting, just like the finale of this season, I bet this would have been ranked way, way higher. Alright? Now, let's move on to the top 10. And at number 10, I have Rise of the Snakes. This season is amazing. I absolutely love this season. The Rise of the Snakes has no bad parts, and I love every single episode. It is constantly amazing, and I think the only reason I rank it above season 2, even though season 2 has a better finale than this season, is because Rise of the Snakes is constantly good, and that is like not even a single bad or boring part in this season. And to me personally, that's what ranks it higher than season 2. But I can totally see season 2 being ranked above Rise of the Snakes, and I wouldn't hate on it. Up next at number 9, I have March of the Oni. So this season is pretty interesting. I do like this season quite a lot, but I think it has a few problems with it as well. Like there was no proper build up for the main villain of this season, and the villain was just not that great. But other than that, this season had a lot of things like the relationship between Lloyd and Garmadon. Okay, and Garmadon just trying to understand normal human beings is absolutely hilarious. So for all these reasons, this season is pretty solid and I rank it at number 9. Now, at number 8, I have Skybound. Alright, so now we have Skybound at number 8. And this season's main protagonist and the main focus of the story was Jay, which seemed like a bad idea to people. But actually, after watching the season, I like the idea of Jay being the main protagonist. Like, I thought this season would just be bad because, I mean, Jay is kind of annoying at points. But this season actually showed a really good side to Jay, and I love it. Narakan was an absolutely top tier villain. Okay, Narakan is one of the greatest villains in all of Ninjago. And all in all, this season was just another solid season. And for that reason, I rank it at number 8. Number 7, Hunted. This is just like another really, really solid Ninjago season, which I very much enjoyed. In this season, just seeing Lloyd struggle without his powers and then fight Garmadon in the finale using the art of the silent fist, which Garmadon himself taught him, like that was really good. Okay, and for these reasons, I'm gonna be ranking this season at number 7. Number 6, Seabound. Now, many people might say that I've ranked Seabound way too high, but I have a reason for that, and that is the climax. The climax hits so hard. This has like the one of, if not the greatest climaxes in all of Ninjago. Okay, like Nia sacrificing herself to save everyone and leaving Jay behind was absolutely heartbreaking. Now, Crystallize did ruin this by bringing Nia back in the very next season, but this season still, hit pretty hard. And like this season even had amazing animation, great villain, great character writing, and the relationship of Nia and her mother, whom we haven't seen ever since season 7. Like this season does a lot of great things, and for that reason, it deserves the sixth spot. Okay. Now I do know that this season is kind of inspired from Aquaman, but still the execution is great and everything is great. All right. Number 5, Dragons Rising. Now, this is a hot take, okay? As many might be saying that I ranked this season way too high. But, like, really, hear me out. Okay, Dragons Rising is how you write a soft reboot, alright? It has everything you could ask of a Ninjago season. It has great story, great animation, great characters, great intro. Even though the weekend whip that they do for the intros is gone, the intro of this season is still pretty good. All right, and like just seeing Lloyd be a sensei and trying to replicate whatever Sensei Wu did for him is just amazing. All right, I love it. I think the only complaint that I have with this season is that it made Kai kind of annoying and made him act way too much like Jay, which I don't like. But all in all, it is an absolutely amazing season and a great soft reboot to Ninjago. Number 4, Sons of Garmadon. Alright, Sons of Garmadon. It was the first season of Ninjago to use the movie designs of the ninja, which many people actually hated and some people liked. Like the reviews of this season were kind of mixed regarding the character designs. But in my opinion, the designs are not that bad and they don't get in the way of the story. All right, this season I enjoyed it a lot, especially how Harumi like betrayed Lloyd and brought back Garmadon was just insane. Like I wasn't expecting this plot twist, all right? And seeing Lloyd get beaten up badly by Garmadon is one of the greatest fights in Ninjago, and this season is great. Okay? This season had amazing visuals and one of the greatest stories and plots in Ninjago. And for that reason, this season is number 4. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving on to the top 3, like my opinion of the top 3 best seasons in all of Ninjago. All right, in my opinions, these are the top, like at the very top of Ninjago and the best seasons to be ever put out by this franchise. So let's start off the top 3 with Possession. Not only does this season have a great concept, but it also has a really great execution. Okay, not only is Moro one of my favorite villains, but also seeing Nia unlock her full potential in the finale was amazing. I also loved Kai's character in this season as someone who wants to protect Lloyd and keep him safe. And another interesting thing is that Moro is what Kai would have become if he didn't let go of his obsession over becoming the Green Ninja. I absolutely adore this season, and for that reason, I'm ranking it as the third best season in all of Ninjago. Number 2, Season 13. This season is an absolute masterpiece. Okay, this is the first season I think in Ninjago which was completely based on coal. I mean, there was Day of the Departed, but let's just be honest, it wasn't that great. And just seeing a dedicated season on Cole and seeing his backstory and the reason why he wants to protect everyone was absolutely amazing. Cole is a really underrated ninja in my opinion. This season really like made me appreciate Cole. Also, this season was the greatest season we had seen in a while. Like season 11 and Prime Empire were not that great, and this season saved Ninjago in a way for me, since after season 11 and 12, I was just gonna drop it. And yeah, for all those reasons, I'm going to be ranking season 13 at number 2. It had a great climax. It had Cole, who was like arguably the best written ninja. And yeah, all in all, an amazing season. Alright, so we have finally reached the point of the video where I'm going to be ranking the number 1 best Ninjago season in my opinion. And that season is none other than season 4, Tournament of Elements. This season is an absolute banger. The Tournament of Elements, in my opinion, is the greatest season in Ninjago history. Like the story was amazing, concept was amazing, execution was amazing, and Chen is one of my most favorite villains in Ninjago. Chen, Chen is an actually phenomenal villain. I love this season. Now, one complaint I have heard about this season is that when the ninja leave the island, the show feels kinda slow, and it's not that great from that point on. But personally, I see no problem with it. And this season just had the most amazing fights in it. And Kai being the focus of this season was just amazing because Kai is my favorite ninja. And then, like, every elemental master was great and amazing. Every single elemental master was like very cool and had very nice abilities and have like really great introductions to the story. Garmadon's sacrifice at the end was really well written, and at the end of the season, we had Moro escape from the realm of the departed, and I like how this set up the possession season. So altogether, I have to say this season is truly a masterpiece, and for that reason, I rank this as the best season in all of Ninjago, in my opinion. And with that, I have ranked every single Ninjago season, and these are my rankings. Now, what do you think about these rankings? And also let me know your own rankings in the comments down below. And with that, we have reached the end of the video. So please don't forget to share this video with your friends, hit like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.